We should.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. It's 4:30.
I am ready. I am ready to do it. That's what I have too. I was just looking at the participants list here really quick. All right, very good. Well, since we are all here, we're going to go ahead and get started and call the meeting to order. Wow, I'm a minute late. Wow, sorry about that. But in doing this, let's go ahead and start out. Cheryl, if you would do the roll, please.
That'd be my pleasure. Okay, Doris. Doris, are you here? You might come later, I think.
I'll let you know if she pops up.
Okay. Ray. Here. Ray is here. EJ, present. Louise? It's close to her birthday. She thought she might not make it, so. Craig is not going to make it tonight. Madeline? Madeline? I don't see her, so. Not present. Robin?
Oh, she does have an excused, and I'm sorry I forgot to give you that, Cheryl.
Okay, I'll make a note. Robin's here, she says.
What?
Chris Jones.
I am here.
Thank you, sir. Judy Jones.
And I'm here.
John Norman is not present, and he called in with an excused absence. Monette?
Hi,
Hi.
I'm here.
Monette's present.
Yeah, we gotcha.
Did you hear
Can
me?
you hear us? Yes.
I can hear you.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, good to go.
Good. All right.
Proceed.
Nicholas is present. Valerie Rose. I see Valerie in the participant list. I'm going to say
Good.
yes. I think she's muted, but Valerie's here. Dave. Dave is present. Daniel.
I see that piece.
I'm here.
Thank you, Daniel. Glad you're here. And Irene.
Yes, I'm here. I'm
Good.
thinking Doris may still be in New York State visiting family.
Okay.
Oh, thank you, Valerie.
You're welcome.
And Irene, you are here, right?
No, I don't think so.
No, Irene, she was kind of questionable about coming in.
She's planning on it when I talked to her on Friday.
Okay. Think she got delayed. All right.
How about Dick? Is he there?
Yes, he's present.
Okay.
Great.
All right. And we have Cheryl and Rogelio. That's wonderful. And for the first time, is Maleah there?
Yes, I'm here.
Well, welcome. And I will introduce myself later, and I'm glad to have you. This is wonderful. Welcome to the CAC and everything else.
Thanks, Judy.
Sure. One last question. I saw on the invited, I saw Larissa Farrell. Was she coming to this?
She's not attending today.
No.
Okay. I just saw that on the under other on the participants list. All right, moving forward. Do we have on the participants list, do you guys see any guests or public comments?
I want to let you know that Doris has arrived in person at Skagit Station.
Whoa, very good. You got me beat this time,
Yay.
Doris. All right. This is wonderful. This is great. Let's go ahead and let me ask again really quickly. Do we have any guests in the participants list or public speakers?
We have no one at the station.
The train. It's out of order. Sit down. You're out of order.
Train's making public comment. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what we'll do about that? Let me know when we can proceed, please.
Give a few minutes.
No, go ahead.
Okay, are we ready?
Yes.
Okay, moving forward, I take it we have no public commenters or guests except for the train. So let's go ahead and move forward with the minutes. Any additions or corrections to the minutes?
There are no.
Hearing none,
Thank you.
Dave says they're good minutes.
okay, let's move forward. Anyone want to bring a motion forward?
I did.
Oh, Dave motioned.
That's what I meant. Second.
Okay, and Dave and then Daniel. All right, it's been moved and seconded that the March minutes be approved as submitted. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Same sign.
Oh.
Was that in opposition?
No, it's just Dave.
Oh, Dave, I should have known. Okay, all right, motion carries. Very good. And moving onward here, we have none other than Maleah Kuzminsky. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Wow, yeah, that's perfect, Judy. Good work.
I
It's a hard name
can't
to
wait
say.
to meet you. This is wonderful. All right. Well, at this point, we will let you have the floor and tell us all about you, your background, and we'll field some questions.
Great.
Take it away.
Well, once again, thanks for being here today, guys. I'm really excited to get to know you all and to work with you. I've prepared a few slides. They're nothing special, but just kind of wanted to give you guys a little bit of background on me. And then most importantly, I would just love to hear from you guys, get the chance to know who is on our committee. It's something that we don't take lightly, that you guys are volunteering your time to be here. It really means a lot to us. So yeah, I'll just do a little background on myself, 5 minutes, and then we'll leave the remainder of the 15 minutes for you guys to give 2 to 3 minutes introduction to yourselves. So thank you, Rogelio, for holding these up. Like I said, I'm Maleah Kuzminsky. My kind of education and background to prepare me for this role. My undergrad degree is in global studies and international relations from a small school down in Southern California. And during my time at APU, I really fell in love with urban planning, and that was kind of my dream position. I spent a few years living in Sweden and really only moved home because of the pandemic, and then got a position in public transportation down in Lewis County and just loved public transit. And so 5 years later, I'm now here and I'm really excited to be part of the Skagit Transit team. In my work at Lewis County Transit, I had a few different positions, but my most recent position was community services and grants manager. And then kind of jumping down to the relevant experience, as our communications lead at Lewis County Transit, I oversaw our events scheduling and our travel training program. And so have a little bit of the operational background as well. I assisted in all of our route planning and our IT considerations. And then most recently have been really involved in hydrogen planning and on the zero emissions front, something I love to do and am very interested in, and was pretty involved in the application and the successful award of a grant through the U.S. Department of Energy, the Office of Clean Energy Demonstrations for hydrogen deployment for public transportation up and down the I-5 corridor, to build out hydrogen fueling from Vancouver, BC to Vancouver, Washington. And it was through that work that there was a town hall here in Burlington that I attended and was able to connect with Crystal and Eric. and was fascinated in the work that Skagit Transit's doing. There's been a lot of change, a lot of new roles, and they slowly kind of poached me for this position, and I'm so glad that they did. My husband and I live in Connor, have lived here for the last 3.5 years. And so I was working virtually for Lewis County Transit, and I'm really excited to be here in person, able to work in the community that we live in. I love Skagit Valley. So once again, I'm just really excited to work with you guys and develop public transportation even further in our region. And then just a little bit more background on some of my community board involvement. Served on the public health board for developmental disabilities, and then on the school boards. And then did a little bit of other work for some of our community groups, community action and whatnot. So anyways, I'm really excited, kind of build out the vision for the planning and outreach department. And my focus is going to be kind of getting us up to speed on some of the technology, and then recalibrating our outreach team. I have an amazing team with Rogelio, Cheryl, and Emily over in customer service. And so we're all kind of settling into this new team framework, and excited to work with you guys to build that out. So yeah, we can skip to the next slide. Or first, happy to take any questions if you guys have questions. Yeah, Jay, right?
Hydrogen hubs. I know Toyota makes a hydrogen powered car that you can buy, but where would you fuel it?
So at my last agency, we are building a hydrogen fueling station in Port Chehalis, so just down the freeway. And we actually have 5 of those Toyota vehicles. They're called rides that we use, and we're fueling currently. Right now, if you were to get hydrogen, you have to bring it up from Northern California or Nevada. Crazy, super expensive. But the plan is to build out hydrogen for use here in the Pacific Northwest. And there's a few different people who are working on plans to build it. Specifically in the Skagit Whatcom area, we have a couple plants coming online in the Burndale area, but those are probably 3 years out. But yeah, I think we're going to see a lot more hydrogen and zero emission technology in public transit specifically, because we're really the only sector that has the equipment ready to go. So if you look at some of our other fleets, they're just not up to par in terms of range, but you can buy Class 8 tractors in hydrogen, you can buy buses, hydrogen buses. Lewis County has 3 of them, and then we'll have 5 here in the next month. Community Transit has a hydrogen fuel cell bus. So it's definitely an emerging industry, especially in regards to public transportation, but I think we'll see a lot more of that here in the next 2 to 3 years.
How many miles do they get compared to a regular bus?
The range is actually quite a bit better. It depends on the size of the hydrogen fuel tank. So if you're looking at, I think it's a 40 kilogram versus 56 kilogram. The range for 40 is somewhere along 550, I think, but then when you look at 56, it gets upwards of 800 miles. So great, honestly, it's expensive and the infrastructure isn't quite there yet, so.
Really not a very private party.
Not yet, yeah, not yet. But it's definitely something that we're looking into as an agency, just kind of keeping our feelers out, not making any big decisions, but evaluating what's out there. I'm excited to keep you guys more up to date as things come along, but it'll probably be a few years, if even, before Skagit looks at that. Any other questions? I told Cheryl I didn't need to talk about myself for 20 minutes, so. If you guys don't mind.
Do you have any kids?
We've only been married for a few years, maybe I don't. Judy, did you have a question?
No, I don't. I was going to wait till everybody had questions. Then what I thought I'd like to do, are we done with the questions?
No, I was gonna move into the member introductions, if that's all right.
Well, what I plan on doing is just calling down the roll and letting each person give about a 30-second introduction. And what I'd like people to do is have those of you on the phone unmute yourselves. And are we ready for this segment?
Actually, Judy,
right.
I'm gonna switch to the slide up on the screen. If we could do a little
I'm
bit.
sorry.
It's okay, a little bit more than the 30 seconds today, if you guys don't mind, just to run through your name, what led you to join the CAC? How long have you been riding the Skagit Transit or living in the Skagit Valley? And then maybe just a fun fact about you. So if you don't mind, Judy running through the roll call, if everyone can answer those questions, I would so appreciate it.
I would be glad to do that. That's fine. And remind me of the questions again when it comes there. Okay, let's start out with Doris, please.
For me,
Yeah.
we don't need mics today? Okay, my name's Doris Freeport. I live up the hill here in Mount Vernon, and I joined the CAC. I was recruited by Stony Bird about 15 years ago. He rode his bike all around town. He was a total green person. Passed away a couple of years ago now. But, so I got recruited because, I was kind of new in town and I grew up with I grew up with public transportation. My mom put me on the train when I was a kid with my little suitcase to go to my grandma's house. And I told the conductor where I had to get off, but she didn't have to because I could read the ticket and I knew just where to get off. And so that's I've been riding stretch since I got here 20 years ago. I told you my fun fact.
That's your fun fact.
It's enough. It's fun enough.
Okay. We'll keep pushing you on that. I just nice to meet you, Doris.
Yes, thank you.
Great, and thank you, Doris. Ray, you're up next.
My name is Ray Bach. I'm retired, still driving pizzas around because to do something. I was really involved when I was at the school districts in negotiations, and I was vice president of the association. And so Dave, he's been doing this for around 100 years. I've known him for 50. So I said, I want to join. He goes, yeah, you should, but he never told me just to come down here and there was an opening. They liked me and voted me in. And I've only rode the bus a few times, done some of the ones that you set up for the riders and stuff. My brother is a heavy user, so I was real interested in everything like that. A fun fact about me, I'm the male version of the old CAC. Cats and chocolate.
Okay, thank you so much. Next up, BJ, please.
I'm BJ Carroll. I live in LaConner. I'm always interested in transit. I moved out from Seattle where I worked for the transit agency for 17 years. And I was in charge of making the buses accessible and of course, first woman supervisor and so on, which was kind of an interesting experience at Greatland. And so I really, we've heard of Skagit Transit, even in Seattle. And so when I came up here, I thought it'd be great to join a citizens committee. So that's it.
What's a fun fact about you?
Let's see.
She knows the good restaurants.
Yes. Yes, let's see. A fun fact would be that I'm a volunteer on 3 or 4 committees, and in LaConner, we've just started our own newspaper, so it's kind of big.
Wow.
Nice to meet you, too. I also live in the corner, so I'll keep an eye out for you.
Have you subscribed?
Not yet, but I will.
Of course, not.
I'm your next customer.
Okay, well, that sounds great. Robin, you're up next.
Oh, okay. I got involved because I moved into a community of several apartments that are all for people over 62 or disabled in some way. And there was quite a ruckus that got stirred up a few years ago because the agency apparently felt that they had to start charging for rides on the paratransit, whereas they had been volunteer. And so I got the idea that all my neighbors were like, they come over here and holler and let everybody know they were done, pay for going to the grocery store and then pay for going home and so forth. And
they wanted me to join them. Well, I rode over here on the paratransit with several of them, and I heard different people talking about the different aspects of why and what happens in various situations. And one thing I heard was that someone had witnessed where an area had to give up having a transit because they could not finance it. And people had just done themselves out of a good thing by refusing to pay a little bit. So I figure if you really need something, you're going to have to put out effort or money or something, keep it. I started trying to think, well, how can I do that? You know, I decided to my mouth and speak, and my idea was screwball maybe, but in any case, Cheryl offered an opportunity for me to be on the committee, and I decided I would.
That's fantastic, Robin. Thank you for sharing.
That's great. Yeah.
I don't know if any, I guess, don't you go to the fitness center, right? Oh, yeah, I'm still trying to hang on to my health and my physical capacities despite a brace on my leg now, but I do go to the fitness center and this,
Yeah,
city of Seafood on twice a week.
that's awesome. Thanks again, Robin.
And one thing I will say, I have I have to brag about this crew here, our CAC members. Many of us, if not all of us, come from professional backgrounds. Robin is a librarian. She's been many years as a librarian, and we all have different backgrounds we can go into at some point. Next up is Chris Jones.
Hi there. I'm Chris Jones. I'm Judy's husband. Both of us are blind, not visually impaired. We read Braille, all that stuff. I joined the committee as of, I think, we moved here in September of 2017 from Idaho, and so moved in and got involved with the committee pretty quickly, and I've been chair a year or two, it seems to me. I can't remember how many. And then Judy basically has covered the committee very ably as chair. So I'm a lifelong transit rider one way or the other. And now we pretty much do paratransit, but I've enjoyed being a part of the committee, and I'll do what I can to try to support the effort. An interesting fact most people wouldn't understand about me is I've been doing black gospel music for 54 years. That's one of my passions. So there you are.
And I will say about him, he composes music. He's had music scored, and he participated in a national the Gospel Music Workshop of America one year. Yeah, so I just had to put that in there.
That's great. Nice to meet you, Chris.
I love music too.
Okay, so I'll make it really brief about me. I am blind, and I have, since they don't let me drive, I have been a lifelong mass transit user. And so we have used transit every place we have lived, starting out our married life in 1980 in Tallahassee, moving to Orlando, Idaho, and then Washington. And then we went back to Idaho, where I retired in 2017. And all of this, this is like using transit systems. What I think the best transit system I ever saw was over in Hawaii, over on the island of Oahu. So I've had transit system experience lots of different places. But a fun fact about me is I love coffee. I love chocolate. Chris and I both enjoy sci-fi. I'm an antique music box enthusiast. I have one. I love the mechanics of it, the history.
I think we lost you, Judy.
Music boxes.
Here you are.
Well,
Okay, you got me now?
Yeah, I think I got you now.
Okay, I'm not sure what happened, but anyway, you'll find out more about me. I don't know when you lost me, but let's move on to Daniel.
Thank you, Judy.
Thank you.
All right. I'll try to be short as well. My name is Daniel Kiango. Moved here in the U.S. In 2007. I moved to Washington in 2008. I'm originally from Africa, from the Congo. And what get me here into the CSC is the fact that also I became a transit commuter because of my job in Seattle. And that's kind of make me aware that there are people who are using it, like Judy says, or some of them that's fully dependable on the transit system. And I thought maybe I can be part of it and see how my input can benefit to the system and to the organization. I just left my job in Seattle, but I will still probably be using my using the transit system one way or another. And I'm so happy to be part of the group. Hopefully I can bring something that can be an addition to help.
That's fantastic, Daniel. It's very nice to meet you. Will you be working in Skagit now?
No, I'll be working in Watcom, PSEF. PSEF. I just get accepted in a position in PSEF.
Yeah, congratulations.
All
Thank
right,
you.
very, very good. Next up, we've got Manette.
Well, I come from Mount Lake Terrace. I lived there all my life. I got married and moved here in 2007.
It's your game.
And I've moved.
Why
What?
didn't you go?
What did I do for work?
Sorry.
What?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I moved from Mount Lake Terrace when I got married in 2007. I have an office support background. I also championed public transit in Mount Lake Terrace. I'm an occasional user up here, but I would really like to see it expanded because I know people, at least one person I'm thinking of, who really needs good public transportation. I think it's a vital part of any area.
Oh,
And, can you hear me? Is there something wrong?
We can hear you.
there's some network problems.
Okay. And I love to sing, and my husband works for a driving school, and we have a little dog that we love very much. And I joined CAC because Robin suggested it, and I want to advocate for public transportation.
Lynette. Thank you, Lynette. It's very nice to
You're
meet
welcome. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, there's some network difficulties, I think, going on here too, but we'll do the best we can. Next up is Dick.
Hi there. My name is Dick Phillips. I have a background with Metro Transit. I went to work for them in 1980. Retired 23 plus years later. My wife and I wanted out of Pugetopolis, which is Pierce, King, and Sonoma counties. So while I still had 4 months to work at Metro, we moved up here and I commuted to South Place, which is an interesting experience. However, if you start work at 5 a.m., the traffic's not bad. I joined the CAC. I can't remember when. It's been quite a while ago. An interesting fact about me, I have been twice widowed and I cook a little bit. However, I'm pretty much limited to like Nallie's chili, Campbell soup, Papa Murphy pizza, and frozen dinners that I can microwave.
Sounds like you're. Sounds like you're checked. That's all I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Nice to meet
Okay,
you.
thank you, Dick. Thank you so much.
That's amazing. That's all we need, right?
Next, we got Irene.
I don't think Irene's here.
She's not here?
I thought she said she was.
I don't
I
believe
did
so.
Okay, all right. How about Valerie?
I think she's unmuting herself.
Okay, well, are you unmuted, Valerie?
Hello? This is
Yes, we hear
Irene.
you.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm not that familiar with Teams.
Oh, this is
And
Irene, guys.
Yes, this is Irene.
This is Irene.
So
Okay,
yeah, I was on earlier
Network.
on my phone because I just checked into my hotel. And then I checked in on my computer. So again, I'm not that familiar with Teams. So anyway, my name's Irene Prokuski. I've lived in Mount Vernon for about 4 years. And I support Judy as the vice chair for the CAC. I primarily use transit for travel these days, to the airport and to trains and into downtown Seattle. So I use the 90X quite frequently. I also, when I worked, I used mass transit occasionally, but I also drove a commuter van for community transit when I worked at Boeing. So that's my background. A fun fact, well, I like to dance Latin music and I'm up here, and I like to ski. I'm up here in Whistler now. I'll ski for the next 4 days. So,
Wow,
Have fun.
that sounds great. Well, it's very nice to meet you, Irene. Thanks for joining us while on vacation.
oh yeah, and well, I'm always on vacation because I'm retired. But but Judy, right before we check out, can we talk about the questions?
Yes,
that-
yes, we can. This is going on a little longer than I thought, but Maleah was wanting some information on the members. Yeah, so this is kind of a first time thing we're doing. We have, next up, we've got Valerie. I was looking for her on the participants. And, okay. So Valerie, are you on?
I am. I was off for I got kicked out for about 15 minutes. I'll have to watch the recording so that I can learn more about the other CAC members. I'm sorry I missed that. But my name is Valerie Rose. I joined the CAC at Doris Brevoort's encouragement. I've been on the CAC for like 17 years or so. I've been using transit all my adult life. And excuse me, I certainly, I said this, yeah, I certainly, if I'm going to Seattle, I definitely use transit. I'm always encouraging other people to do the same. Oh goodness, a fun fact about me. I am a master gardener, which does not mean that I can identify lots of plants. It means that I know who to ask. So, and I love to garden. We do have some master gardeners who have an encyclopedic memory for plant names and all. That's wonderful. I'm not one of them. I do other stuff.
Thank you, Valerie.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Oh. Hey, and then the last member we have is Dave.
Hi, I'm Dave Stevens. I'm riding the bus ever since it started. And riding most of the time. And that's pretty much it.
What's the fun fact, Patrick?
Let's see, on the gamer, I played called, Grand Theft Auto, Madden, and I'm mobile a lot.
Awesome.
So that's an incredible difference from sports and stuff.
That's good. Okay. All right. I think that takes up our members now. we are kind of running a little bit behind here, but we do have coming up a new section here, board review of the long range transit plan. And I take it, Cheryl, you're talking about that. Is this correct, or was Larissa coming?
I will be speaking to this in the future.
Oh, very good. You're ready.
I think we can.
I'm impressed.
We can punt this topic till next month though, because we just did the general presentation to the board last Friday. It's the same presentation that you folks have seen. Initial feedback was positive. We had a few pieces of feedback considering the goldenrod region of Burlington and needing to maybe come up with a connection there because we had removed service there, but with the incoming development, we've identified that we're gonna have to come up with something to service that region. So we're working on that. The public comment period for the long range plan opens next Monday, or it's the coming Monday, and it will be open for 30 days until May 14th. At which point we'll collect all the feedback from the sessions and from the public comment and compile that. We'll take that to the board for their review and recommendations. And then at that point, I think we'll have a better update for you guys in terms of board recommendations going forward. So if you don't mind,
Okay.
Cheryl, we'll bump that until next meeting.
That would be
Yes, Dr.
fine.
Do you have a question?
Yes,
oh,
I
yeah.
do.
There we go.
The goldenrod region.
I'm sorry, Goldenrod Road, which is in Burlington. It's a corridor that was previously being served and we recommended to take away service on that route. But then the Burlington mayor pointed out, thankfully, that with all the development happening in that region, that would be a mistake to remove service from that area. And he's right, there's 1,200 units coming into that area. Yeah, potentially, you know, if there's no people in those units, thousands of riders. So we have identified that as a need and we are looking at solutions.
Okay,
Thank you for that clarification.
You
good
betcha.
question. Good question. Thank you. All right, so then what we will do is move forward on to BJ, if you're ready. I understand you're going to be presenting on these on your event in LaConner. We had to table last month because of internet network interruptions and so forth, but we are on today, so go for it.
Okay, fine. I attend the senior center in LaConner, and it occurred to me that the retirement inn is, they've got a lot of new people that I thought might be interested in transit. So I asked our director to arrange a transit tip lunch. I bought ice cream, so I knew they would come. And Cheryl came and gave a fantastic presentation. And I particularly had asked some of the members, Bob Bradshaw and some others, to take back to the retirement inn and get a little connection. And they did that. They talked to the activity director and and of course, Cheryl handed out routes,
Oops.
a lot of questions.
I think we lost him.
Yeah, and what surprised me.
There we go.
is,
We lost you.
What surprised me
Oops.
is the number of persons who came who hadn't ridden. And for example, the 615 has great access to the retirement center, goes through town.
Yeah.
I would say it's a success because I heard back from people who, and again, from the retirement center, that the activity director did talk to others.
So
So
fantastic. Good work, ladies.
Yeah.
That's great. That's awesome.
That is wonderful. And BJ has quite a, and Irene too, both of them have really great backgrounds in marketing and professional development. They are a great team to have. Okay, that is really good. Next up, we've got the Valerie. You're up for presenting on the coach windows. I'm sorry we didn't get you last time.
Well, last time I was having a lot of challenges getting connected to Teams, so this worked
I
out
get it.
perfectly.
Okay.
So long ago, Skagit Transit buses had windows that opened. Then there was a director of maintenance who decided they needed to all be locked, and they're still locked. I take the ADX to Bellingham pretty frequently, and so sometimes those are WTA bus coaches. And it's always refreshing to ride on a WTA coach because the window's open and the passengers can adjust the temperature and collaborate together, collaboratively, adjust the temperature, and it works. It takes some negotiation sometimes, but it works. And the Skagit Transit buses, the heater is either on or off. There's no gradation. I'm assuming that this was the least expensive option, and it means that it's really challenging to moderate the temperature at all. As I say, the heat is either on or off. Since the Skagit Transit bus windows that used to open are locked, I am suggesting that we unlock them and allow passengers to have more of a range of temperature and more options for, do we want fresh air in? Do we not want fresh air in? So that's my experience and my comment, my request.
Valerie, that's fixed route. Is it on the fixed route? You're speaking of fixed route.
For the ADX, I think.
ADX.
That's where I will often catch a WTA bus because the ADX is shared between Whatcom and Skagit counties, and so it's shared between the two transit systems. Sometimes I'll ride WTA just within Bellingham, and again the window's open, and it's quite refreshing. And I would love it if we could return to that option here in Skagit. But
Thank
Valerie,
you,
can I
Valerie.
ask a question? Valerie? Yes? So can't it be an area of a problem area in some respects with people, with their different people wanting different temperatures and some wanting windows open and some not? And what, I mean, isn't that probably the reason that they're locked? And also, wasn't the bus driver that was killed, the King County bus driver that was killed about 6 months ago, wasn't that over an altercation about the windows?
No.
I remember that tragic murder.
Yes.
I don't remember the windows being involved. I remember it was in the middle of the night. Somebody living unhoused who was known to,
Right.
who rode the buses.
Yeah.
And so you raised, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, did you said my name?
I just wanted to let you know that that's valid feedback, and I think it's certainly something we can follow up with our fleet facilities team on and figure out if it is a safety consideration. No promises, but I think that's definitely something we can provide a response to you on. And if there is a solution for changing it, we can work with our team to figure that out. But to Irene's point, if it is a safety consideration, it's unlikely to change, but we can definitely get an answer for you because I understand where you're coming from. That's a very valid concern.
So
And
I do
now
have
if
a I do have a comment here too, if I may insert this, just for some perspective for Maleah. This has been an issue that Valerie has been very patiently bringing up ever since I've been around Skagit Transit, which was 2018. And so a lot of times what's happened is she'll bring it up, she'll request it, and then it sort of goes into a black hole. At one point, we had an operations gentleman come in and talk about filtration and filters and all this kind of stuff, talking about that. I can see where Valerie's talking about, let's just get some fresh air in the bus.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking some people may not like that because of allergies, like in pollen season, stuff like that, but there's got to be a way to be able, I would think, to just to have a little bit of balance.
Yeah, Judy, and Valerie, we've captured this feedback. We certainly understand. I can't speak to past administration or leadership, but it is on our radar. We will certainly follow up with you on it. And we look forward to trying to find a solution. And if we can't, we'll make sure that we can at least provide justification as to why we can't. So you can expect an update from us on that next month.
Much
Sounds
appreciated.
good.
And Irene, you raise a very good concern, which makes me, if the research that will be done could include contacting WTA, finding out how they deal with openable windows, and if it's ever an issue that creates altercations. Yeah, good idea.
Okay.
I-
Any more questions for Valerie?
Mrs. Manette, I just want to say I agree with her, and about the ridership, there's just some personalities that would pick a fight no matter what, and that's why we need to have some kind of security too, for the protection of the drivers and the riders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good point. Good point on that. Any other questions for Valerie? And then I did skip, and I apologize to you, BJ. Did anybody have any questions for BJ on her activity? I was intrigued by the way she reached out and connected. She's a great outreach and marketer and all this kind of stuff. So anybody have questions for BJ?
I don't have any
This is
answers.
Valerie.
You're off the hook.
I was excited about the ice cream.
Okay, let's move on then. Let's move.
The place for the ice cream.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not getting the actual, I'm just hearing chatter, but if I'm missing something, let me know or interrupt me. But otherwise, if I don't need to be interrupted, let's move on and get through quickly the staff reporting. Ridership update looks like we got.
I have a little bit of information. I'm happy to share what I have.
Okay, can you get to a mic, Cheryl?
Can you hear me better?
Yes.
Okay. So I just have some basic information on ridership. So for the month of March, our total paratransit trips were 62,088. So 6,288. That was for the month of March.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Our on-time performance was 97%.
What performance?
On time.
Oh, wow. That's impressive.
Yes.
Okay.
And then for fixed route in February, we had 37,200. So
Got it.
37.
Yep.
000. To give you a sense of that. And I don't have too much more information on fixed route right now, but that's what I've got.
Okay, thank you for that.
Do you have an update on the other two items that you want to share while you're? Sorry, trying to keep you excited.
Yeah.
Okay, on the long-range transit plan, public comments?
Yes, and we touched on this earlier.
Yeah.
It is April 14th. That's this coming Monday until May 14th. So that's the time period.
And if I may add, we will be, public comment can be picked up, hard copies can be picked up at the customer service window and dropped off there. And then we will be posting, all of the flyers on all of our vehicles, both para and fixed route, and then, sharing them with the local school districts and cities. So
And,
Sure,
Okay.
they were days.
and it's
Are
on the
the flyers out
website.
yet?
They will be out on Friday. We don't want to put them out too far in advance since the survey doesn't go live until Monday.
Ah, okay. Any other questions on the public comment period? Okay, moving on, how about now we've got this outing coming in May, the
Yes.
educational outing.
We do. So in June, that's our opportunity to go as a group on Skagit Transit and experience the Route 300. And I'm working on that right now.
Hey, do you have any updates for us on it?
That the Job Corps folks are having their community relations meeting and they want us to attend, which is a great thing. So it'll be an opportunity to learn from them what they are doing for the community, and we can represent what we do with transit.
Well, that sounds great. That sounds really good. So will we be actually, excuse me, will we be actually having a regular meeting, or is this going to be more of a just sort of a networking meeting with them?
It's kind of more of a meeting with them.
All right, so then my question is, do we want to have our regular meeting?
Do you want us
In
to
Ju-
vote
I mean,
on that? Next
I
meeting?
think we should. There's things that we need to do and we need to talk about. And so I think we do actually, we are going, I'm just getting my calendar here really quick. We are going to be needing that time. I believe so. I would like
Yeah,
to
we're
have
gonna
that
circle
meeting
back
then.
to it. We'll
Yep.
circle back
Okay,
to it.
so the May, May's would be May the 13th. That would be the actual day. And then what is the day we would be going? Was that were they looking at
It sounds
what
like
day, Cheryl?
June 10th.
Oh, I'm in May. Okay, sorry. All right. Yeah. And you're right. We could circle back to that because that's the same day as our meeting. So, what we would need to do, this has happened before, is if we decide to meet on a different day, we can be thinking about it. And if we decide on that, I think we do need to meet. The board, we would just need to get board approval for that, and we could get board approval for that in May.
I think we'll talk about it internally and then we'll come prepared with some options at our next meeting.
Okay, that's fine too, as long as we can make the decision and still have our June meeting. That would be good.
Yeah, I think we can figure that out, but just for the sake of time, I think it would help if we had discussed this internally and then bring forward something at our next meeting.
Exactly. Okay. And then moving forward, the events, can you just list those, Cheryl?
Yeah, so the Veterans Stand Down event is happening April 18th. That's for veterans and their families. And then we'll be at the Healthy Kids event at the YMCA. And then that's at the end of the month. And then on April 25th, we'll be at the Community Connect event, which will be in Mount Vernon. And then we'll be at the Legal Aid Law Day, May 1st. So those are all coming up.
Okay, thank you for that. That's good. You are busy, especially with the public comments too. All right. One really quick, in a couple of sentences, I'll tell you about the HB 1418, the ridership on advisory boards, with 2 additional riders. That thing has passed, it's passed both House and Senate. Well, yeah, the rules are being read in the Senate right now. The transportation did have an executive session on it. So the rules are being read on that. And that's all I know as of April 7th. All right, on the round table, I would like to ask Irene to present. She and I have been discussing a little bit on CAC, and we will be getting with other members as well. So Irene, take it away.
Sure. So I will be contacting all of the CAC members over probably about the next 2 weeks and asking them 4 quick questions. And I'll be contacting everyone by phone. So if you get a call from a 425 number, I know a lot of people are hesitate to answer a phone number that they don't have, but my phone number is 425 591-7078, just so you know, you'll be getting a call from me. And I've already contacted about 4 or 5 people, and it's only about a 10-minute conversation, and I'm basically recording what your interests are and as it relates to
Oops, we lost you. Oh,
what your
Go ahead.
interests are as it relates to transit, and what your strengths are, and just kind of, and what areas you live in, and what routes you use, whether it's on a regular basis or occasionally, or we're looking for people that, for example, I live in North Mount Vernon, and so I'm familiar with the 207, even though I rarely take it, but I'm familiar with the route and the movement of the bus. So I'll just be talking to people in general about Skagit Transit.
sounds good.
So
Sounds good.
watch my calls.
Any questions for Irene?
I didn't know it was you. I got point.
Your number shows up with your name, and I told Dave, but he didn't know that it was you, so he let it go to voicemail.
Yeah,
So
I
if you
thought.
call him again, he'll answer.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. And then one thing I want to ask, because and Maleah, I apologize, I wanted to ask in your session, can you please give us your contact number and your email?
Yeah, the best way to reach me is gonna be through customer service at this time. But I will send out my email, phone number though. If you're trying to reach me, it's best to go through customer service, and Emily will redirect the call. But I will send out my
Okay.
email, after this meeting.
Okay, very good. Sounds really good. All right, does anybody have any questions to bring up in our roundtable session?
This is Manette. I'd like to comment that
Yes.
who is struggling trying to work at Walmart, and she lives near the Mount Vernon High School, but she's got to take a bus to the Chuckanut Park and then another bus all the way to the Skagit station, and then get on one to turn around and come back to go to Walmart. Isn't there anything that goes up and down Burlington Boulevard that she could take that would let her off at Walmart? Is there anything
Monette.
we can do about that?
Cheryl's gonna pop in on that question.
Hi, Monette. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Oh, good. So is it Burlington High School or Mount Vernon High School?
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm nuts. It's Burlington High School with the tiger eyes.
Okay,
That's where she lives.
okay, so, she can take a bus that goes straight from Burlington to Skagit Station. It's the number 208. And then she'll switch to 207. That'll take her straight right to the door of Walmart.
But there's no way that she can take something from Burlington High School or near Burlington High School, or transfer to something on Burlington Boulevard that would take her to Walmart without going through the station.
Not at this time, no, but with this long range planning, Monet, it's incredibly important to us that we capture this feedback. So
Yeah.
starting next Monday, when that form is live on our website, If you don't mind asking her to fill out that concern, we want to make sure that we capture her difficulties with that routing to see if it's something we might be able to address. So if you don't mind reminding her to hop on Monday, we would greatly appreciate it.
So can I add something to that when you're done, Manette?
Website. Hello, this is Manette. That's the Skagit Transit website.
Yes, that will be on the Skagit Transit website on Friday. We'll post the information about it, but it will go live on Monday. So if you can have her take a peek on Monday, that will be open for 30 days.
30 days.
It's a brief feedback form that just asks for some of her feedback on the routes or suggestions for improvements.
All right.
And I see, Joe, you've had your hand raised.
Yes, I saw that. Joe Kunzler.
Hi, Joe Kunzler here. A couple of things. One, I had trouble logging on to the meeting on my iPad through Teams, so I'm logging on through my home computer, and I hope that's okay. And the second thing is I'm very concerned about a particular bus stop, not just because it's mine, closest one to me, but because it's in front of the senior center. And I'm wondering if we're still going to have service to stop 5157 at East State Street in Ball, please.
Joe, can you say the streets once more, please?
Sure. East State Street and Ball Street. And the number is 5157. And the info's in the text.
Thank you for sending that over. Unfortunately, just with respects to time, I don't know if we can follow up on that today, but I have your email, so I'll look into that and I'll send you an email and then make sure that we capture feedback on that for the long range plan as well, which includes stop improvements and updates.
Thank you. I'd like to hear back tomorrow, please, because I'm seeing some maps that show you kind of go around, and my biggest concern is, that's the senior center for the community, and so it needs to have a stop there. I know you want to try to reroute things to make things a little smoother, because frankly, to be honest with you, the Route 301 going around and going up north before coming back down south is a bit problematic. Sometimes it's better for me just to take the walk, especially if the 301 is early.
Yeah, I hear you, Joe, and I thank you for sharing your feedback. I'll follow up with you because I want to make sure we address this properly, and unfortunately, I just don't have the time to do it this evening. But I want to make sure that
And I have his email too, Maleah.
Yeah, schedule some time to follow up with you. So expect an email from me in the next couple of days, Joe.
Yeah, I'll look for your email.
You,
we'll connect one-on-one. Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate it a lot. Okay, this is another problematic thing too, Maleah. I don't know about with you guys. The internet keeps disconnecting and reconnecting and disconnecting like every minute.
I don't think that we're having an issue with it down here, but I'll ask Rogelio to troubleshoot that a bit more. From our end, we haven't had any issues, unfortunately.
Yeah,
so
somebody also chatted in saying they're having the same disconnecting problems.
Yeah, we'll need to look into it some more.
Sure. Okay. Very good. Well, it's come to the adjournment time almost. Unless anyone has, yes.
I do. I did have my hand raised.
Irene?
Just quickly, as it relates to Monette's comment, the 207 and the 208 intersect. And but the intersection point is a bit laborious or to get to. So I bet if they looked at the intersecting points that they could take the 208 and get off where the 207 intersects and get to Walmart if that connection was a little bit easier to access. So, yeah. Because I was,
thank you for that.
Yeah, I was looking at that so that I could take the 207 to the Bel Air airporter, and instead of having to go to Skagit Station, but it just doesn't work too easily.
Yeah. Yeah, I think too, now that we have Maleah on board, that we can all actually access her. She is going to send out her phone, well, customer service for now, and her email. So you may get a bunch of questions in your inbox, Maleah, but we're a very active group. And I just appreciate you being here and all you've done.
Thank you, Judy. I would like to just kind of circle back to that. For route-specific concerns, customer service is incredible, and they are really available, you know, Monday through Friday to assist with any routing issues, pass issues. I'm probably not the best person for these inquiries for a little while until I get caught up to speed, but even so, it's important to me that we connect folks directly to customer service because they do a really phenomenal job at assisting with these matters.
Sounds good. Sounds really good. All right. Well, it's the time is here about to adjourn, and you all know how to get a hold of me via email, as you well know, I do too, for you guys. So we'll continue chats and continue on. But for the moment, who would like to bring a motion forward for adjourning?
I will.
David has a motion.
I'll motion.
Okay.
Second.
Who's seconded?
I'm seconding.
Okay, been moved and seconded that we adjourn. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hey.
Thank you all. Have a wonderful evening. Talk to you next month.
Opposed, nay, but yeah,
Take
okay.
care,
We forgot,
everyone.
we had to finish the Roberts rules there. All right, thank you all.